Hello and welcome to Messages of Love and Peace. My name is Carolina Duarte. I am a book author and speaker. And today I have a topic that has been getting very close to my heart and is joy. Who can relate here that joy is very important in our lives? The question is, how many times are you actually following your joy? And this is what I've been trying to do. And this is a very unprepared video. I just want to speak from my heart and share with you the experience I've had in the past days, focusing on joy and leaving aside the rest. And it could sound that I'm going like I'm not very like I'm contradicting myself when I'm making decisions. And that's what my first thought was when God challenged me. And let me tell you exactly how everything started. So this was like probably a week and a half ago. I was a bit disappointed and things weren't going my way. This hasn't been an easy year for me. And I was just very stressed and I had a lot of things in my mind. I felt overwhelmed and I was trying to do my moment of prayer and it wasn't flowing and I felt like I don't know. It didn't feel like it was being very from the heart. So I was asking God, please help me feel closer to you. I feel like I'm getting this distance and I don't know where it's coming from. So I had that beautiful moment of that I feel like I got closer to God and I felt like I felt like he was absent, but it was actually me, the one that got distance from him. And during that moment of prayer, it felt so beautiful and so great. And then a day later, or a couple of days later, I got news. A long story, but I'm gonna make this simple. I had some income coming from another type of business that I used to have before, but I still have some clients from that business, and they decided to cancel that contract. And financially, that means a lot for me because that's kind of my main income. I don't really make any money from any making videos or the books that I have published. They're mostly free. And it was just a hard hit financially. So I was kind of disappointed. I was mad, like, God, what's happening? Why is this happening when I'm trying to work my way and get this word and there's all these teachings that you're giving me, but it's this financial hit that's gonna be hurting me. And it was very interesting because sometimes we feel some things are there to hurt us, but we missed that they're actually there to give us a boost in some other way. And this is exactly what happened. And I probably haven't told my full story on YouTube, but many years ago, God guided me through a dream to read about Joshua. And I kept reading that part of the Bible many times. And I was reading it. I don't know all the numbers and all. I don't know. I don't memorize the Bible verses, but I just get the essence of it. So in one of those Bible verses, it said that this group of those kings decided to get together and attack. Well, this, oh my God, I'm not saying this right. But the essence of the Bible verse was that sometimes we get attacks out of nowhere and we feel that those are there to hurt us. And I feel that's how Joshua was feeling during this. But then God came and pretty much eliminated everyone from these kingdoms, from all the kingdoms that they were attacking. And Joshua was trying to defend the servants that, anyway, it's a long story, but if you know this story, you know what I'm talking about. But the essence is that I felt like I was being attacked. It was something so unexpected, and so like all this loss of financially was hurting me in a way that I didn't expect. And then God guided me through my prayer and through this Bible verse that sometimes things are not there to hurt us, but they're there to give us a boost, as I said earlier. And this is exactly what happened. It took me a little bit of time to understand what was going on. And it's just amazing how synchronicity works in God's plans. So I was there, like just complaining pretty much. And then God told me to follow my joy, which for me, it didn't make no sense, because I was like, what do you mean follow my joy? I need to find a way to cover this financial loss. And he's just like, follow your joy. That's what you have to do. Just give yourself a break. You've been through a lot this year. Follow your joy for a month. Then my mind, I was like, a month, that's way too much time. I can't follow my joy for that long. He said, okay, follow your joy until September. We're in August 29th now, but that was like August 20th. I was like, okay, I think I can handle a week or two of following my joy, which makes no sense because we should follow our joy constantly. But I didn't know that back then. So I said, okay, and I should have known because I have followed my joy so many other times. But this time I felt like it didn't make sense to follow my joy, because sometimes we have in our minds that we have to hassle and we have to go through difficult times, and we have to like suffer for things to go our way, or for things to work out, or for us to deserve things. But God was just simply telling me, follow your joy. And when he said that, the first thing that came to mind is like, I have to get back to my writing. I haven't wrote in so long. I've been caught up on this trap of hiring an editor for the English version of my book, which has been more stressful than it should. And I stopped writing because I don't want to continue writing if I have this other book that I haven't actually completely finished and published, that has been ready for a while now. But I said, you know what, I'm going to obey God. And as I always try to say, I don't want to find the logic behind. I just want to obey him blindly. And what he's asking me should make me happy, because he's asking me to follow my joy. And I decided to do that. So I followed my joy. And I said, the first time I said it was writing. So I went on my computer and I said, you know what, the best time for me to write is usually very early in the morning. So I wake up at 5. And I love to write between 5 and 7. I feel super connected to God and very at peace and very focused. So I love that time of day. So I said, okay, tomorrow I'm going to start my day writing. And I feel that joy coming out. I was like, oh, this is so exciting. I'm going to start writing again. So the next day I go and write and go and open my computer to write. And I remember that he had told me, when I thought about writing, I knew exactly what I have to write. I knew exactly which book I was supposed to. I have a lot of books ready to be written, and some are ready to be re-edited. So I have a lot of books ready to go for me to like continue. So I had a lot of choices, but I knew exactly which book I wanted to write. So I opened my laptop and I had the outline. I knew I had the outline of my book. That's another story. God gave me each step on the book, just like he does for other ones. So for all of them, actually, not other ones, all of them. So I knew I had the outline of the book. And I opened my laptop. I searched for the title of the book. And I was so surprised that I had already written that book a year ago, exactly a year ago. And I started writing, and I was almost reading, and I was almost in tears to see that book was exactly what I needed to read in that moment. And that book is about finding and following your true purpose. And I was so joyful in. I want to say surprised, but I shouldn't be surprised, because I knew that God guided me to read that book in that moment. And it just make huge change on how I'm feeling about now, because somehow I get lost in analytics, I get lost in numbers, I get lost in how many views I'm getting on this video, how many downloads I'm getting from this book, how many people are actually liking or following or watching what I'm creating. But I forgot that my life purpose and the essence of it, and I'm here to bring these teachings, that the teachings that he's given me, and spread it to the world. And I'm doing a lot of that work, and I forgot how joyful that felt. And I just get lost in the numbers, and I feel like, again, I needed to go back to the essence, which was my true purpose. So it was a very beautiful moment of how we feel that God is not listening, but he's always there with us. He's always there watching over us. And I felt like that book, I wrote that book a year ago, but I feel like I wrote it for me in this moment. And it is such a beautiful book, and not because I wrote it, because God guided me to write it. And the way it's written, it spoke to me so closely that I was like, wow, this is a book that I need to publish. People need to see this book. I want people to find their purpose. I want people to feel this joyful. I want people to feel how I feel, to have a life with purpose, and to have a life that brings satisfaction and that brings this fulfillment. So it just beautifully brought me back to my true purpose and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I don't care about the financials, and I shouldn't care, because God has always taken care of me. Always. Even when things seem very impossible, even when things don't make sense, God has come to the rescue every single time. He has never let me down, and he's always there for me. So I should not doubt him in any moment. Even though things are not going exactly the way I want them to go, I know I'm following my path. And the fact that had already written that book, which I remember now writing that book, but things that I thought about so many times writing that book, because I feel like this is so important that I thought I hadn't written the book yet. And to my surprise, I had already written the book. And to be honest, I was reading and it's complete. It's completed. There are tiny little minor typos that I have to correct. And it's almost ready to go to the editor. Obviously, it's written in Spanish because I usually write mostly in Spanish. And then it gets to get translated, and then to get to the English editor. So it's a long journey that book still has. But the point is that it's been written, is there. And just because I decided to obey and follow my joy, I found my purpose again. And I still have that homework that God has given me to follow my joy. And the first 2 days were so easy. And now I feel like it's getting harder because I feel like I have so many things to do. But I don't follow. They're not necessarily 100. I'm not doing it for joy. I'm doing it because I have to. It makes a difference in how I feel about those things. And I think this video is becoming very, very long compared to the other ones. So I might have to do a part 2 on the other aspects of how following my joy has impacted my life, other areas of my life that following my joy has changed to very positive things. And we sometimes undermine how joy is really our guide. So today I want to welcome you to follow your joy. Follow what God tells you. Follow what truly joy is for you. And I can't guarantee, but most of the time when we feel that peace in our heart, that true, profound joy in our hearts is guided by God, and it has to do with our true purpose, and it has to do what we're meant to do and who we're meant to be in this world. So don't underestimate joy. Stay connected to God, ask Him for guidance, and I assure you that if you follow your joy, you're gonna find wonderful things in your life, and you're going to be so much more happier, and I can only look at the wrong camera, happier, and why not joyful. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like this type of videos that are literally putting myself out there and being super vulnerable, I would love to know in the comments. And if you haven't, subscribe. I'm always posting things on Instagram as well of my daily life and things like that if you're interested as well. Thank you for allowing me to share my story today.